Kristen last week, she wanted everyone to know Dr. Amen is one of the founding doctors of the Daniel Plan. He's a brain doctor, very, very good doctor. And he and his wife, Tana, have something, the Brain Warriors Way book out. It's a new book, and then also they have the Brain Warriors Way cookbook. So Kristen wanted me to share that with you guys. I haven't seen it yet, but she said it looked really good.
Brain doctor, urologist?
He does brain scans, and he can actually look at your brain. It's a bit pricey, it's a few $1,000s. Has anybody in here done it?
My sister-in-law sent me a link about it, and she's a nurse practitioner or physician's assistant or something, so.
They can actually, like, they scan your brain and they can tell, like, you're low in this nutrient, you need this, this, and this. And like, for example, Dr. Amen, we have a friend of the family, the son was having hallucinations. He was, it was very difficult, very, very, he was hearing voices. And so they actually took him out to California to see Dr. Amen. And Dr. Amen put him on certain kinds of foods and supplements is what they put him on. That was it. And it went away. And so it's just kind of amazing to me. He's natural, but he can look at your brain and see what the issues are. So we've thought about it. It's just real expensive. So. Okay. Let me see.
There's a whole series, like a 9-hour series by Mark Hyman on broken brain.
Yes. Yeah.
And it really ties the microbiome to the brain. And all kinds of, neurological and mental issues.
Which goes down to kind of why part of when Jim and I talked about teaching on food, this is one of those ones that's something that we all can deal with. We all can address food. Some of the other environmental factors we don't have that much control over, but we do have control over food. One of the things too, so if for those who haven't seen it yet, there's the site where there's resource information, and I will put, Brandy, I'll put some stuff on there about vitamins.
Thank you.
But I had on there places on site, resources that you could buy from, and I've been buying from Vitacost for a long time because they had very low prices on good products, and they had great coupons. So, but over the years, the prices are going up and going up and going up. And I've gotten to where now I went and I bought some stuff this week. Now that's okay. Has anybody not signed the roster? Okay, and please be sure and put your email address on it. So I'll invite you to the Facebook group. So it's talking about, so Vitacost now, unfortunately, their prices are going up, not on everything. And so I ended up, when I made a purchase, I actually bought some stuff from Walmart that had some high quality stuff that was lower than my Vitacost stuff on sale. So I took that off. And now Lucky Vitamin was a great one. Now you have to pay to be a member of Lucky Vitamin. Thrive is a good one, but you have to pay to be a member of Thrive. So you just kind of have to pick and choose where you buy your stuff. Go ahead.
I don't mean to be, too difficult, but
You can be difficult.
you're telling everyone here it's a good one. How do you know it's a good one?
Wait, what's,
I have a comment on that.
which, what do you mean? What do you mean?
You're
when
talking
say
about different
it's a good one?
vitamins, right?
No, I was talking about online stores. So I bought like my dishwash detergent.
Oh, stores for stuff.
These are
Okay.
online stores. I'm not talking about
Because I think
vitamin
that there's a whole issue there.
right,
With
which is what she was talking about. How do you pick a good
Right.
vitamin? Yeah.
Right.
And at Walmart, you gotta be careful. A lot of that stuff is produced in China.
Yeah.
So it looks like something that, and they try to package their stuff very similar to things that are good. I think Nature Bounty or something. Anyway, just read the label.
You need to be very
If it says
careful.
produced in China, you
Yeah.
probably don't want to be ingesting it over a long period of time.
It's the same
Once or
with
twice is probably
Amazon.
But if you find,
Anybody can steal your money off of Amazon. with
but if
that.
you find a product you like and you're satisfied with, you just have to shop for sources.
Oh, yeah.
With the pricing
That's
that
called
you're
comparative
comfortable
shopping, but
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
But you have, like we sell products, right? And we sell direct to people. And they go online, they say, oh, that same product is cheaper on Amazon. We have a whole floor of attorneys that are chasing down thieves from China. They're putting these products like it's our products on Amazon. And they're
They
knockoffs.
got a storefront.
Even
Right.
legitimate
Wow.
stuff,
Yeah.
legitimate stuff is not, the FDA is not looking at everything that comes across the border that you put in your body. So just be careful, especially vitamins.
Well, the
Vitamins are
FDA
not,
FDA doesn't look at vitamins at all
Well, there you go.
until there's a problem.
Supplements.
Yeah.
If someone gets injured, but otherwise, they, like the attorneys generals of Oregon and New York, pulled off a number of botanicals and vitamins off the shelves, found 79% of them had nowhere near what they said they had in them, and some had contaminants that were truly going to hurt your liver. So you need to be very careful.
You wanna go with a reputable company
Yeah.
that's got some,
Yeah, good point, thanks. So that is a big issue, and a lot of people just run into Walmart and grab something off the shelf. You know, it's gonna be some kind of, not very great. Okay. Let's see, oh, one thing I did want to tell you too, on June 11th, an executive order was signed to streamline the approval of GMOs and to make it easier to get GMOs on the market, and I know, I just about cried. And also there's some attempt to force other countries who don't want our GMO products to buy them. So that's where I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm just gonna grow. And then I was like, okay, God, you're in control. So I will do what I can do in my life, in my circle, and you're in control, and that's all we can do. So just, again, if your dollars matter, so if you could not buy them, that'll help.
Yeah.
So. Okay, we had some wonderful questions. So see, we already hit on the one on the, can we trust the organic label? We hit a little bit on that. And so after some of the questions came out, I think a little bit after class, I started thinking about some of the stuff. And with organic, there are, for example, there's a movement now, it's called Beyond Organic, Regenerative Organic Certified, where they're trying to get back to real, like, I'm the farmer and I'm working with the dirt and all that. Because, for example, right now hydroponics can be classified as organic, and hydroponics have no soil. So there's some people that are, you know, true organic people, they're like, well, that shouldn't be. So there's certain kind of exceptions that are in there. But in terms of us trying to buy the best things for our families or for our friends, the organic label is what we have.
Hydroponics depends on what you feed them, right? So
Right.
nutrient wise, but then also you don't have to put pesticides or any of that.
True.
It's all inside. So.
Well, see, I think some of the issues, like apparently you can grow them like in PVC pipes, or you can grow them in a styrofoam cup and things like that. And then there's like, but that's not really organic.
That's not hydroponic. I'm not a styrofoam cup. But yeah, there's different media you use to that they use the roots go down through to absorb the nutrients and water. Yeah. The Georgia Power has looked in Southern Kentucky. You know, because there are food deserts and things like that.
That could use the hydroponic. Yeah, so it's like that balance.
Yeah.
That's what the proponents of it are saying. It's like, let's not get so sticky with it has to be in the dirt.
Actually, yeah, we just bought a company that does something similar to that, although I don't know the exact technology yet. But it allows us to truly control in greenhouses the growth of the primary product. And I think what they do is they do an absolute precise application of the 23 trace minerals into whatever it is they're growing, if it happens with water or some kind of soil. And it's a contained environment, because when you have an organic farm, if 3 miles down the road you've got someone who used pesticides, you don't have an organic farm. It's called wind.
Yeah, the drift.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it is a very hard topic to discern but I think you're right. It's like, why not at least go with the organic label? There's a chance that you're getting a much more pure product than not.
Yeah, I wouldn't get too upset about, because there are also, they have found some evidence of fraud where people have fraudulently, you have to have an organic certificate, and where they fraudulently created them. And there's actually a website that will show you, these are the companies that we found fraudulent certifications on, and you can look up the companies. I didn't recognize any of the names, so I don't know if they're from China or what, I don't know.
The one thing is the government's overwhelmed.
Right.
We think we have police protection. When it gets down to it, it's so minimal compared to what you really need. And it's the same on all these government entities that overlook all the things we think are going to protect us.
Mm-hmm.
One good alternative, I think, would be find a local organic farmer that can produce,
Yes.
that can get you local, and he's right there, his reputation's right in front of the neighborhood, or her reputation.
Yeah.
that would probably be a good way to at least lessen.
That's probably the best, or even growing it yourself, but even if we talked about growing it ourselves, we can't control when our neighbors next door spray for
Right.
mosquitoes and all that. We're like, how are we supposed to keep all that
Down
out of our
them, So we get
yard?
their runoff,
Right.
so they get, herbicide application.
Yeah, so you just do the best you can do.
Yeah.
That's all we can do. You do
Yeah.
the best you can do. Okay, we talked about fluoride in water, and I looked it up. Oh, Meg's not here, so oh well. I looked it up, and there's the way you can do it: distillation, reverse osmosis, the activated alumina, and then a water filter system that has a specific filter for fluoride, which is what we've got. But you cannot boil it; it won't go away. Most water filters don't have that fluoride filter, and then you can't. Apparently, some people thought you could freeze it and make the fluoride go away. That didn't work. So that's FYI. The trans fats, I mentioned to you guys that they were banned, and I hadn't looked up to see what was going on now. So some of them have been banned by last year. Some of them are supposed to be, what day is today? So they would have been banned this year. Then you have some that are still going to be on the market until January 1, 2020 and January 1, 2021. Because what the manufacturers do is like, we don't have anything to put in place of it. So we've got, we have a need to keep producing it. So you still have to look for trans fats all the way up until 2020. So, I looked at like peanut butter. Most of the peanut butters now have palm oil in them, if you've got oil at all. But the palm oil is grown in the what do you call the forest? The
Rainforest.
thank you. That must be what she's trying to say.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're cutting down the rainforest to plant the palm trees in order to get the palm oil, because we want to have the oil in our peanut butter because we don't want to stir it up, because it's such a pain to stir up the peanut butter. It's just not. You stir it up, you get it, you stir it up, you put it in your fridge, and you're done. And it doesn't come apart again. But we consumers are saying, right? I mean, we consumers are like, no, I want my peanut butter I don't want to have to stir it. So, okay. And cooking spray oil. So this is what I bought in 2006. I hated it, so I never used it. This Misto thing. And then this is what I bought a couple years ago. We were talking about a spray bottle, but then someone said something about glass. I was like, why didn't I buy glass?
Is that a plastic one?
It's plastic. It's BPA free, but it's plastic. And I'm like, why did I buy this plastic bottle to put my oil in? So I think I'm going to repurpose these and there's little glass ones too for spray bottles. So I wouldn't recommend plastic. This is my boo-boo, so thanks for whoever said something about glass.
Do you use that maybe do you like spray oil on salads or no? Or
I don't.
I'm trying to diminish the use of oil,
What do you use it for?
I actually rarely use it. Usually when I do roasted vegetables, I'll put them in a pan and put a little oil and then just stir it up. Put it in a bowl. But
Yeah.
you can just put it on your tray with your parchment paper underneath and just go.
Put it in a plastic bag and put the oil and shake it up.
Okay.
That's the best.
So I rarely use mine, but
Uh-huh.
anyway.
Okay.
So I would recommend if you're going to buy one, get glass. We talked about ketchup. I have another true confession. I'm like, I don't know what kind of ketchup I have in there. So I opened up my fridge. I had Woodstock organic ketchup, but it does have sugar in it. I was like, I have no memory of buying this because we've hardly ever used ketchup. So if you want the no sugar added ketchup, those are some brands right there that are no sugar. But most ketchup has sugar in it.
Yep.
If you want like tomato products, most tomato products like tomato sauces and tomato like pasta sauce, they have sugar. But if you want like Muir Glen is a wonderful product that doesn't have any sugar, and it goes on sale all the time. So you just look for it to go on sale
What
and
is
buy
it?
a bunch. Muir Glen
What?
is a
Ketchup?
crushed tomato like
Oh,
pasta
pasta
sauce.
Okay.
It's one that is organic but also does not have sugar in it.
Mhm.
So I just look for the sales that are going on all the time and I grab some.
So do they actually make a pasta sauce, Muir Glen's? Because I was just buying the tomatoes when you're.
Well, and that's probably better. I guess
That's
I'm
better.
lazy.
I just
and
bought
have
it
the
at Whole
salt.
Foods, that
Yeah.
pasta sauce.
Yeah. But you can make your own, which would be even better.
Karen, I have a tip for the peanut butter.
Yeah.
Our daughter taught us this, that if you have a little hand mixer, just put one beater in, You have to
And then-
really hold the jar really tight.
I bet you did.
I
Yeah,
did.
you
You
did.
say that, you confess.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's not working. I take a knife and I'm like,
Actually, I take a fork.
Yeah.
I take a fork.
They got one that's.
Yeah.
Or I think you can put it in the jar and tip it upside down and then.
okay, all right, thank you. All right, and one other thing, there was a question about whether or not, if we choose to do the detox, can we take supplements? And I started thinking about it after we left, and I was like, a lot of supplements have gluten in them, they have caffeine in them, they have additives and preservatives in them, so it depends upon what your source is of your supplements to know whether or not you ought to be taking them or not while you're in the detox. Okay, did anybody try anything new? You try a new restaurant?
There's a lot of sugar in there too.
Okay. Well, Cold Stone will do that to you.
Yeah.
We had grass-fed elk.
Ah, was it good?
Yeah, it was really good. So it was extremely lean and grass-fed, so it probably has omega-3s in it.
Yeah.
I can tell you about an experience with a grandchild coming to our house, because I'd been here a couple of weeks, and so, we were doing the vegetables and all of that, and she ate them, and I swear her personality changed. And I won't say that to her mother, and she doesn't go. But, I mean, eating just the stuff, carrots,
Absolutely.
cucumbers.
Yeah.
It was
Detoxing
amazing.
from sugar.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I mean, not that she's fine at home. I'm not saying that. She has a wonderful mother, but I was just like, she just say, well, we ate. I just was amazed.
That's excellent.
I did try, I never looked at eggs before buying eggs, so I bought vegetarian eggs. They're like, I guess the hens are vegetarian fed,
Okay.
so they're supposed to be vegetarian.
I would throw out GMOs are vegetarian, so they typically will feed chickens GMO feed. So just because it says vegetarian doesn't really work. So what you want is a pasture raised.
Yes, it was.
Oh, it's pasture raised, and you want it to be out there eating the bugs and the grass
Yeah,
and
free
stuff, yeah.
range pasture.
Okay.
raised,
Yeah.
Pasture fed and something else. They were brown eggs.
I think you have to be careful about cage-free.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kind of a misnomer, I think.
Right.
Means they let them all run around in the chicken house.
And well, they're kind of, they're like hobbling around because they're so, they're fat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're so fat.
yeah.
Okay.
Karen, I did have one question. You talk a lot about sugar, but what about salt? Because salt is supposed to be bad for you as well, for different reasons.
It's interesting that you said that because I thought about this week and I was like, wonder why they don't talk about salt in the
Yeah.
Daniel plan. So what we do is basically I buy most everything I can salt free or low sodium so that then I can be the one to add my sea salt to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some people, well, the doctor always tells you, eat less salt.
Right.
And they don't even mention sugar, but.
Yeah, but all salts aren't created equal.
Right.
And then someone that salts stuff before they even eat it.
Mhm.
The worst person is salts the community whatever before. I mean, you're like, really? Have y'all ever had that? You're at a table with people and they salt the.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anyway, I'm like, wow. But, there's mineral salts that are actually have literature that they're good for you. Everything in moderation though, obviously.
Well, what made me think of it is I bought a Costco chicken yesterday, and first bite, I was like, wow, this has a lot of salt.
Yes.
But I love them. $5.
Yeah, it's
You
the best
can't
thing.
beat it. But,
They used to get me on the hot dog with the free Coke, but that was
Oh.
years ago.
yeah, what,
So I think your point is well taken that just like sugar, we want to be the ones to add the sugar, we want to be the ones to add the salt.
mhm.
And there's a lot of other seasonings that once you get the other herbs on there, you don't
Yeah.
necessarily need salt.
right.
It's got this nice flavor to it.
I think if you transition away from packaged foods, that it just in essence takes you away from the
From the
salts and the
sodium.
sugars. And then like you say, if you add certain herbs, there are some herbs like oregano and whatnot that are chock full of antioxidants, which is really good for you. So.
What about the potassium in the salt? You know, you always buy the salt for the potassium or
Iodine.
whatever.
Yeah, I was
the
gonna say,
iodine,
yes,
excuse me, iodine. I mean, is there?
I don't,
you
because
just
the
get
sea
that
salt
other-
I have doesn't have, I have like
Yeah.
3 different kinds, or maybe 4 different kinds I use. They don't have iodine in them. I don't know, if I have an iodine problem, I guess I need to address it.
Okay,
But
so
I don't
that's
buy,
not-
I don't buy salt for iodine. I don't, does anybody else have any tips on the iodine?
Well, I mean, if you find a proper nutritional supplement to get you the iodine, there is, I think, a pretty large iodine deficiency in America.
Okay.
And so,
But I
That's
got
why
your
they started
point.
putting in salt, right?
That's what I
A
thought.
long time ago, there was a deficiency.
That's old info then. Gotcha.
You can brush it onto your wrist and it'll absorb through the skin. It's like my chiropractor used to, when you have a cold, he said paint your inside of your wrist with iodine. It'll make your throat feel better.
See, I bought some and it's like orange, and they said, you just paint it right here and you see how long it takes to absorb. I haven't done it yet, but you see how long, and then that tells you whether or not you have an iodine deficiency or not, and it absorbs into your skin, and anyway, and then you're giving yourself the iodine. I thought that was kind of cool.
that is pretty, you can Google any of this stuff
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
use a discerning mind to ascertain what's good or bad.
Biggest
and
organ you
Same with zinc, there's a lot of different, minerals that are really required that we're not getting.
They say magnesium is one of the, like 90% of people have a magnesium deficiency.
Uh-huh.
And we actually had a health fair here at the church
Okay.
more than a dozen years ago. And I was off work that day, Betsy and I went, and I had been kind of achy, and I mentioned it to some health food store. They had a table set up, and it was in the gym. But I said, what should I be taking? And the lady said, oh, you've got a magnesium deficiency. Take one of these and walk around and come back. And like in 10 minutes,
You ran to the bathroom.
No.
No.
It was like somebody flipped a switch. No,
Right.
Yeah.
and I know milk and magnesia and all that.
I
That's magnesium. But no, it was like somebody flipped a switch.
Yeah,
And,
That's wow.
That's pretty cool.
That is.
but they say like 90% of the people have this magnesium deficiency. And I just haven't heard anything, related to that as well. And if 90% of people have that issue, why isn't it talked about more?
You mean in general, or you
Yeah.
mean? There's actually a lot. If you go and read, there's a lot of stuff on magnesium
Yeah.
from healthcare providers,
Right.
reputable healthcare providers.
Yeah, I still take it. It's like when I start feeling achy, I take it. It
That's
helps.
great.
It's amazing.
All right, y'all, today we are gonna watch 2 videos back to back. It'll take about 23 minutes. So one is from this series, one is from another, but it related, and I thought it would be good for us to watch it.
Oh, I never serious.
So,
I wonder to your point though, is if you're changing your diet to be what's on the Daniel plan,
Mhm.
if that gets you a lot of these other
Uh-huh.
things that
Yeah, 'cause you're
you historically get, and that might be why they're not specifically
addressing, he does talk some about vitamins in the book, but on this particular series, he's strictly talking about food. Yeah.
My lifestyle was probably more what's easy, what's quick, what's fast, what tastes good or what I thought tasted good.
Before the Daniel Plan, life for me was super hectic, chaotic. I'm a single mom working a full-time job, raising 2 girls, and there just was no time. Everything was rush, rush, rush. Grab whatever you can, whenever you can, and a lot of times that meant making poor choices.
I was diagnosed with high blood pressure, and so that really scared me.
My food was ridiculous. Lived off of packaged food, fast food, whatever was easiest, because I'm really busy.
And I finally realized one day, not only was I setting a bad example for my girls, but it was emotionally taking a toll on my life.
My sugar was in the level of being a diabetic, my vitamin D level was really low, my good cholesterol was really low.
I started getting excited about things, and people just saw the change in me. They saw the glow on my face.
I'm amazed how I eat. I pack my food every day. I take snacks with me. I don't go anywhere without good food with me. Friends and family are blown away.
My cholesterol level went down. You know, my energy it's higher.
I get stopped by people and say, "What did you do? What happened? This isn't you." So it's amazing. It's a miracle.
Welcome back to session 3 of our Daniel Plan series on food. In our last session together, we identified foods we need to reduce or completely eliminate. Sometimes this seems hard to do because we have learned over time to crave these foods. When our bodies get out of balance, we can get used to imbalanced ways of satisfying those needs. If you're in that situation of craving, this session will be so helpful. Dr. Mark Hyman is going to help us identify the real messages our bodies are sending when we crave something sweet or something salty or something creamy, so we can bring balance to our bodies and find deep pleasure in real whole foods. Food is medicine, so we need to overcome the power certain foods have over us. 2 Timothy 1:7 says that the Holy Spirit gives us power, love, and self-discipline. With the Holy Spirit's power, we can discipline our cravings, not just so that we can fit into certain clothes, but so that we can live with purpose, that we can love, we can serve, connect, and celebrate the gifts that God has given each of us. Dr. Hyman, I'm so glad to be able to deal with some really practical parts in this lesson. We're going to talk about cravings. And what do we do when we're trying everything you've said? We've added these foods, we've taken away some, but we come to the day, it's 3 in the afternoon, and those cravings are entering in. How do we really overcome the power of food?
It's true, those cravings suck, right?
They
just
do.
like
Yeah,
take
it's
over.
like, wait. Yeah.
It's like the Chips Ahoy are calling your name, right?
Yeah, your name is on it. Like, come and eat me, exactly.
So what do you, it's true, it's so powerful. And it's partly biological and partly psychological. But you know what we really know now, and this is actually frightening, is that our brain chemistry has been hijacked by the food industry. And that sugar and processed food acts in your brain just like cocaine or heroin. So if you're trying to choose between a healthy snack and some garbage, guess what? The garbage is always going to win. It's always going to win, unless you understand how to use food to shut off those cravings for good. And that's what the Daniel Plan is all about. It's about understanding how to use food as medicine and take back your brain chemistry, take back your taste buds, take back your metabolism, so you're not a victim of these swings of blood sugar and energy all day long and trying to satisfy them with food and things that aren't good for you.
You know, sometimes I find that when I have those cravings, if I do just have something else on hand, I might be craving the whatever, the double cheeseburger and fries. If I just satisfy it with something actually healthy that I have maybe at my desk, you know, in the afternoon, it's amazing that a nice cup of green tea and maybe that apple with some nut butter on it or a handful of nuts. It's amazing how just eating something else can really satisfy what I thought was over here.
That's right. I mean, that's the thing. It's like you have to have things available. And that's why, you know, I talk about not being in a food emergency. We're going to get some great resources for that as part of this segment. But what we really have to realize is that most of us are drive-by eaters. You know, if we are hungry and we drive by something or walk by something, we're going to find it and eat it. Even me, if I'm not actually able to get access to the foods that I can choose as a substitute, I'm going to choose the bad stuff. So what I love to do is to create an emergency food pack. So I always have something with me in my bag, in my pockets. Often when I go to like dinners or events, I'll have like packets of nut butter in my pockets in my suit so that I don't have to worry about if I'm going to be eating something awful or if I'm going to be hungry and then want to overeat or eat something bad or dive after the bread basket because I can't stand being hungry anymore. So you have to learn how to manage that. And in the Daniel Plan, there's some very simple tips that we've talked about already. I just want to recap a few of them, which is eating every 3 to 4 hours, having protein for breakfast. It can be eggs, it can be a protein shake, nuts and seeds, making sure you have good healthy fats, because what fats do is they cut your appetite and they prevent you from having cravings, and then cutting down way down on the sugar and flours, which actually are driving the cravings. So those simple strategies can make a huge difference in how you feel and these swings in mood and energy.
Nice. I've heard you really talk about being able to slow down, add a reflective component to our life, and really listen to our bodies, listen to the messages that are being sent. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Sure. You know, often for my patients, what I do is I have them put on the fridge a big sign. It says, what am I feeling and what do I need? So it could be, I'm hungry and I need a snack, or it could be, I'm lonely and I need to talk to a friend, or it could be, I'm angry and I need to tell the person about what I'm angry about so we can deal with this. Or maybe it's, I'm really, sad and I just need a hug and someone to hold me, or whatever it is. Or maybe it's just I'm tired and exhausted, I need a nap, I don't need a brownie. And so when you begin to check in with yourself and ask those two questions, what am I feeling and what do I need? And just take a time out, even for a minute. You begin to actually shift your relationship with food and begin to become aware. Like, just create that momentary pause between the time that you think of the food and sticking it in your mouth, and in that gap, you can begin to understand your relationship with food and change it. And make sure you stack the deck in your favor by having all the right foods around you. You want to make your home a safe zone. Listen, if I had a hard day and I come home and I've been working like crazy, and there's a pint of Chunky Monkey ice cream in the fridge, in the freezer, you know what? I'm going to eat it. So you know what? I don't put it there, because if I have to get in the car and drive 10 miles, I'm not going to do it. But I do have some dark chocolate, or I'll have some, my favorite is I could take nut butter and I dip the dark chocolate in it. And it's satisfying, it's sweet, it's like crunchy, it's just a yummy taste. And I feel satisfied, and I don't have to go have the pint of Chunky Monkey ice cream.
I love some of these practical ideas that you've talked about, cravings, even the chocolate and the nut butter and some things that we can do. I'd love to hear more, because I feel like people really struggle with this. And if people aren't hungry and they know how to satisfy their cravings, they're going to succeed on our plan.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to have cravings, here's the way to do it. You have cereal for breakfast, or fruit for breakfast, or a muffin or a bagel for breakfast. Because what that does, it sets up your whole day to be looking for more sugar. I once had a Cinnabon when I was really stressed at an airport, and all day I was running around craving sugar, and I ran to Starbucks when I got off the plane in Chicago, and I got the little chocolate covered cherries and ate the whole bag. So you have to set up your day properly. And the best way to cut cravings is to start the day with the right foods, and that's fat and protein. So what am I talking about? Well, it could be eggs, or it could be whole eggs with a yolk and an avocado, for example, or it could be a protein shake, which has, and I don't make mine with protein powders. You can do that if you want, but I make mine with, for example, pumpkin seeds and chia seeds and walnuts and hemp seeds and coconut butter and almond butter, and I put wild berries and I put even cranberries in there, and I put in the blender with some unsweetened almond milk. And I tell you, eat one of those, I'm good till 1 o'clock. I don't think about food, I'm not hungry, I can focus on my patients all day, and I'm not like looking for something around 10, 11 o'clock and trying to find a muffin or a bagel because I'm so hungry. So having protein and fat is critical in the morning. So it can be, if you're from Sweden, you want to eat, fish and herring for breakfast, go ahead. But whatever turns you on, it has to be, people eat even dinner for breakfast. They might have chicken or fish for breakfast, that's fine. But you need to eat good quality protein. And what the protein does is it actually speeds up your metabolism. So you actually burn more calories all day long. And it might not be a lot, but over a year it can be adding up to a bunch of pounds.
Nice, I love that. I think ultimately you're cutting down your cravings, but you're also being really satisfied. It's a whole different way to nourish. It's a different mentality about how to bring nourishment into our lives.
Yeah. I mean, the thing when you eat sugar, you get like a quick boost, like a quick high, and then you crash. And so you're on this yo-yo roller coaster all day long, and you're looking for the next fix. So in order to stop that, you have to plan your day. You have to make sure you eat breakfast and protein and fat for breakfast, and then you have to cut out all that cereal and sugar and stuff for breakfast and muffins and bagels, which are really the problem. And then you have to populate your environment with the right foods so that everywhere you are, whether it's in your house or your desk at work, or whether it's in your car, or whether it's in your bag when you're traveling, you have to have the foods that you need. And that's why we talk about the food emergency in this segment, how to avoid a food emergency. And if you have that, when you're hungry, you'll just grab something good. You won't be thinking about what to do that's bad for you.
You know, ultimately, I feel like this whole series is on enjoying God's abundance. And I think when I come to a session like this on cravings, it's really a nice time to take a step back of just how can I be kind to myself in my life, kind to my family and friends? How can I better make intentional choices that are going to work for me in this area? You know, because when we're satisfied with our food and we're not having these cravings, we're having the energy, the vitality to really do that all God's called us to do. And we have enough energy to not only do our day, to be able to give back as well. Speak to some other areas in life when we talk about these 5 essential areas that we really can be kind and gracious and replenish and fill our lives.
Well, that's such an important point, Dee, because so many of us don't practice self-care. You know, we don't take care of ourselves. And so when we have cravings, it could be that we're not nourishing ourselves. And we cannot be nourishing ourselves by choosing the wrong foods that harm us instead of heal us. Or it could be because we're not nourishing ourselves by actually taking the time to heal ourselves in other ways, whether it's taking time for reflection or prayer or meditation or exercise or sleep or just alone time or just time with friends, something to fill up your tank. We do so much output. How much input do we do? How much inner size do we do? Very little. And so when we want to replenish our well, we have to fill up the tank. And it's so important because I know when I do that, I am so much happier. I'm so much better in my work. I'm so much better with the people around me and those I love. And so it's not selfish. It actually is selfless because you're then able to be more present and more accountable and more engaged and more loving and more able to do the things that God put us here to do.
Nice. I love it that we have you, the expert guru on food on the planet, being your expert in functional medicine. And I also like how the Daniel Plan has wrapped around people that have expertise in the area of brain health and focus, in fitness, in friendships, relationships, in faith. Because I think as we really talk about filling our tank in life, it's really getting our food right and set, as we do that so many times a day. But it's also taking a step back to say, really, how am I filling my spiritual life? Am I making that time to connect with God regularly and have that be a vibrant relationship in my life? Am I investing in friendships, having movement that we enjoy? All of those. Am I taking that attitude to be able to get the negative thoughts out and do replacement thoughts of what is positive and right and true in our life? So in this session on cravings, I love the practical, tangible tips of really how to eat well, how to nourish our lives. But I also love that you are adding in nourishment holistically to all of ourselves.
It has to be. It has to be. Because, you know, like I said, if you're sad or lonely or isolated, I mean, that's what's so wonderful about the Daniel Plan, because it has this secret sauce for healing, which is friends. You know, we found that, you know, we talk about this, but people who did the Daniel Plan together lost twice as much weight and got twice as healthy. Why? Not because it was a different program they were doing. It was the power of love. So I actually call Daniel Plan the love diet.
I love that, though. I love that you called it the love diet.
It's what it is. You know, we know from science and from our experience in the Daniel Plan that people who connect with each other, who support each other, who help each other, encourage each other, hold each other accountable, and encourage each other when we're doing well, are the people who succeed. And that's what we know is necessary. We need the right food, and we need the right way to change how we behave, which is the power of friends.
Nice, I love that. Well, as you launch into your groups today, you can think about the Daniel Plan being all about love, how you can be satisfied in your life as you really contemplate and reflect on what are the things you want to bring in for nourishment and replenishment. Have a great time now as you launch in together, and we'll see you next week.
You know, we talked about not being in a food emergency.
Yes.
Because that's the worst thing. If there's a vending machine, it's going to win. If there's a bowl of candy on the table in the office, it's going to win. If you walk by a donut shop, guess what? You're going to walk in there and buy something completely out of control, because you cannot control your diet by willpower. So you have to plan. And it doesn't take that long. You have to find a few ingredients that you like, a few things that you like to eat. And this is my kind of cocktail of stuff that I carry with me. and I carry it with me everywhere. I have little bits and pieces of it in my bag. I have it at work in my drawers. I have it in my suitcase when I travel. So I'm never in a food emergency, and when I'm in airports or I'm traveling or I'm at work or I'm busy, I never get stuck with a low blood sugar, because that's the worst place to be. So what can you put in your emergency food pack? It's a life pack. I mean, if you were allergic to bees, you wouldn't go out without your EpiPen. If you have a body, you should not go out without your life pack that's going to be caring for your body. So here's a few things. I like nuts. So little packets of nuts. Almonds are great. These are actually really nice. These are little packets of almond butter. Now, I don't like all the packaging, but it's really good. You can get almond butter, pecan butter, you can get coconut butter, and you just keep it in your bag and it lasts forever. Jerky is a wonderful thing. I love jerkies because if you get naturally raised animals, beef, grass-fed beef, or turkey, you can actually keep this in your bag. It lasts forever. It got Lewis and Clark across America to explore all the pemmican and jerky, and it's just good for you, and it cuts your appetite. In fact, last night I was late, getting away from work, trying to get in the airport and get here. And I had a bag of jerky in the car on the way to the airport because I was hungry and I didn't want to be stuck in the airport with something that I couldn't eat. Hard-boiled eggs, again, eggs are inexpensive, they're easy, you hard-boil them, they last for a while. Keep them in your bag and you can open and eat them when you want. Fruit, fruit that's not squishable, apples, pears. I also like canned stuff sometimes. I'm not a big canned person, but canned sardines are a great food, omega-3 fats, lots of protein, good quality vitamins in there. And you've got garbanzo beans. You can mix in a little bowl if you want and put it in your bag with a glass sealed container. Put olive oil, lemon, little salt and pepper, garlic. Canned salmon, also fantastic, really wonderful source of omega-3 fats. Artichoke hearts, I love artichoke hearts. You can just open the jar and eat it if you're hungry, you throw it out. Hummus dip is great, and you can have that, it lasts for a little bit. And I usually have a cooler if I'm traveling for a long distance. You can put an ice pack in it. It's really easy to do, and you can have these cut up vegetables. You can use them to dip in your hummus.
I was going to say, you can put it with the hummus.
Hummus, you can just eat them regular, and you can have little containers that have covers on them, or you can get glass containers and use those yourself. So this is my emergency life pack.
I see a couple of bars here
there's
too.
bars.
Tell me
Yes,
about
bars.
these.
So there's little bars. I have Lara bars. These are dates and nuts, kind bars. Some of them are sweeter than others. You have to be careful with the sugar, but nuts are a great source of protein and fiber and really help balance your blood sugar. And I love having these just stuck in my bag. I have raw food bars. So I just keep stuff there so I don't have to think about it. You don't want to be like worrying about it. You don't want to be having to plan or figure out what you're going to do if you're busy. So I always have this stuff in my house. I go to the supermarket once a week. I stock up, and it's just there. So when I'm running out, I throw it in my bag, and I don't think about it. You want to design your life so that you don't have to think about being healthy. It just happens automatically.
Okay. Thoughts?
Well, I love that last part because we just took a vacation, and when we travel, we've got our bag of, it's a mixed bag of almonds, roasted almonds. We roast them ourselves with some sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds and what? We may put a few craisins and some dark chocolate. And then we always just grab up maybe an apple to take with us or a banana, even though the banana's a little more high sugar. And so that we end up, while we're traveling, lunch is only what we have on us. We don't go out and spend $40 on lunch, and yet we're healthier. Our day goes better. We're not dragged out by a heavy lunch. And so we find, anytime I travel, she knows I always just take my travel pack with me. And on the airplanes, of course, they don't give you anything anymore, and which is fine.
Yeah.
But so I find that travel pack, really, if everyone could try to do that, it can really be helpful.
Is there a place that you bulk buy your nuts?
That we buy our nuts?
Yeah, like in bulk.
Well, in bulk, I'll buy them at Sprouts, and I've bought them at Costco. You get the big bags. Sprouts, I usually look around and I'll buy them when they're on sale.
Yeah, because
otherwise they're pretty expensive.
They have organic nuts at Sprouts, and then like every couple months or something,
They'll
they'll
go
25% off bulk bins.
And
you
so I'll
just
buy
go
them
and you stock them.
and then throw them in the freezer.
And throw them in the freezer.
Yeah, and but I like to take those almonds, raw almonds, get them without salt, and then I throw them in my little small oven for like at 310 or 320 for about 12 minutes, 13 minutes, and it roasts them up, makes them a little bit more fun and interesting to eat. And so, but I price out nuts compared to my meats. And because nuts can give you your fats and protein, and the nuts, if you buy them on sale, you're gonna realize, wow, this is, because you're not gonna eat 8 ounces of nuts, you know, which you shouldn't eat probably that much meat anyway, but you look at it in terms of the nuts relative to what you pay for meats, and you're, all of a sudden, you'll be mentally ready to buy more nuts.
Yeah, because the meats and the poultries are expensive, the high quality meats.
Right, right.
Go ahead, Kim.
I went to my favorite place in Atlanta this week. I went to DeKalb Farmers Market.
I know that is.
You'll go nuts. You're obviously not gone. So they have the bulk nuts and they got the, I love that place.
And they have also the little machine.
Yeah, a lot of organics too.
Yes.
Yeah, and they have the machine where you watch them literally, it just grinds up the almond butter right in front of you, and you know there's nothing in there but almonds.
So like on the organic, I bought a lot of organic vegetables that were cheaper than my regular vegetables close to home. And so like something regular was $1.19 a pound and the organic was $1.29 a pound. That wasn't a
Deal breaker.
That wasn't a cost decision for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
There was one thing I didn't get organic because one thing was $1 something a pound, another was $4 a pound, and I didn't do it.
Yeah, when it's 4
But
times,
you
I'm
can-
back away.
But you can start, you know, for me, you know, I'll admit, I'm not 100% thinking I need organic everything. The other thing I liked about DeKalb Farmers Market is they had a lot of stuff grown in Georgia.
Which is good.
And local farmers is good. So anyway, you'll have to go, because I got all kind of bags of nuts. They got a whole lot of, you'll just be so happy. And I make friends there. Oh, and my new thing I bought, I'm sure it's gonna be good, but I started making friends in front of the Brussels sprouts. They had purple Brussels sprouts.
Cool, that's a nice deep
So
color.
I said, I'm gonna try purple.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
It's worth a trip once in a while,
Yeah.
so it's a little outing.
I make friends every time I go.
Oh, yeah. Be prepared for crowds. It's
Are there
pretty
certain
good.
days that are better than others?
Don't go on Saturday.
Oh,
I went
yeah,
one
or-
time on Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Oh, I made so many friends that day. But you know, you have to. The tip from Kim is you park your cart over here, depending on how crowded it is, and you do loops in the produce without your cart.
Yes, yeah, that's
Much
right.
easier to maneuver through there.
Mhm.
So you come back with your bags of produce to your cart, and then you make another couple of loops,
Yeah.
and that way you're not navigating, because it gets a little crazy. But it's awesome. It's my favorite place.
Anybody else? Thoughts? All right. So this week, here are some ideas of things to try if you want to. These are basically the things that he talked about in the video. Also, if anyone has not done a detox and wants to try it, you know, start gearing up. That'll be good to, like he said, reboot your body, reset. And next week, we're going to talk about how to set up our kitchen so that we have a successful home, how we should shop, how do we eat out, and then how do we turn this into a life change rather than just something right now and then we go back to our old ways.
Is class gonna be in your kitchen?
We've actually done.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's here that was in it, but we actually, in one of the Daniel Plan groups, a chef was in our group. So we met in the kitchen and she taught us tips.
That's cool.
It was very, very fun. We had a good time. Yeah. So I've only done that once.
Cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But we've talked about we need to do that again. Yeah, that was a lot of
Yeah, put us down, please.
fun. Okay. I mean, it was good. Okay, anybody else? Okay, I'm gonna pray us out together. Okay, Father, thank you so much for this time together. Thank you for this fellowship and the way that everyone is so willing to share with each other and to help each other and support each other. And we know that you want us here for a specific purpose. Each of us have different things that you have us to do, and we want to be able to do it as well as possible. We thank you for helping us in this way. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.